All right, today we're diving into a real giant of history, a fortress that's just steeped in legend and royal ambition. We're talking about the magnificent Karlstein Castle. It's one of those names that just immediately brings to mind kings, incredible treasures, and defenses that seem absolutely unbreakable. So picture this. You're building a medieval fortress wall. How thick do you think it would need to be to feel, well, truly impenetrable? What if I told you that some parts of Karlstein's walls are a staggering 10 meters thick? Yeah, that's the kind of stronghold we're about to explore. Its whole imposing silhouette, it looks like something straight out of a fantasy epic. And honestly, there's a good reason for that. This real-world castle has actually graced our screens in huge productions like Game of Thrones. So its legendary status isn't just some ancient history, it's very much a part of our modern culture too. So what's the story here? Where did this absolutely colossal structure even come from? Well, to really get Karlstein, you have to understand the man who dreamed it up, the incredibly powerful King Charles IV of Bohemia. See, Charles IV's motivation was absolutely key. He was the Holy Roman Emperor, so he didn't just want another fancy palace. No, he needed something more. He needed a super secure vault, a place to protect the most important treasures of the entire kingdom, including the imperial regalia. So from the very beginning, Karlstein was designed for two things: to be a royal home and an impregnable fortress. Now, a project this ambitious, it wasn't built overnight, not even close. The castle's story really unfolds over centuries, and you can see how each era left its own unique mark right there in the stone. Everything kicked off way back in 1348. That first big construction push in the 14th century is what gave us that powerful Gothic fortress at its core. But, the castle wasn't just frozen in time. Later on, during the Renaissance and Baroque periods, it got some major upgrades and expansions, adding new layers to its whole identity. And that evolution is still going, right up to today, where it stands as a museum for all of us to go and experience. And all those different layers of history mean that the castle is this fascinating mashup of architectural styles. It's almost like a history lesson written directly in stone. So let's break down what you're actually seeing when you look at this place. Here's the crucial thing to get. It's not just one style. The castle's very bones, we're talking its core structure, the chapel, that's pure Gothic revival. You see it in those classic pointed arches. But over the years, new layers were slapped on. On the outside, you'll spot some Romanesque details and all the ornate decorations. Then you step inside and bam, the Renaissance influence just takes over with these grand staircases and huge sweeping arches. It's a true architectural hybrid. Okay, we've talked a lot about that impressive exterior, but we have to remember why it was built in the first place. It was a treasure vault. So let's head inside and see what kind of incredible secrets and collections were, and in some cases still are, hidden within those massive walls. And wow, the interior is it's a treasure trove. You've got the massive Great Hall, of course, but the castle also holds incredible collections of rare manuscripts, priceless works of art, and even ancient Roman relics. And get this, it also has a fully functional organ that was built way back in the 15th century. It's wild. Each room is like its own little time capsule of European culture. And this is so cool, it brings us right back to that dual-purpose design. The Great Hall wasn't just for big feasts and ceremonies. It had this ingenious system of pulleys and counterweights. It was a clever piece of medieval engineering designed to quickly seal off the hall during an attack. Think about it. It's a reception room that could literally transform into a bunker in minutes. But of all the spaces inside, if there's one that is the absolute crown jewel, it has to be the Chapel of the Holy Cross. It's considered a true masterpiece of Gothic art, and it was designed to feel like heaven on earth. The walls are just covered in priceless paintings, and the ceiling is studded with semi-precious stones to look like the night sky. This wasn't just a room, it was the spiritual and literal heart of the entire fortress, where the most sacred relics were kept safe. Okay, so how does a medieval fortress and royal vault actually survive all the way into the 21st century? Well, the castle's final chapter is its amazing transformation into one of Europe's most beloved historical sites. And its popularity today? It's just undeniable. Karlstein is no forgotten ruin. It's a buzzing, vibrant destination that pulls in over 100,000 visitors every single year. People come from all over the world to walk through these historic halls and experience its story firsthand. So today, the castle is owned by the state and it's managed as a national monument. That status means there's a constant, painstaking effort going on to restore and preserve it. The whole goal is to keep this incredible piece of history intact, not just for us, but for every single generation that comes after us. And all that really brings us to a final thought. Karlstein Castle has been a fortress, a royal treasury, a private home, and now a public museum. It has constantly adapted and changed its purpose for nearly 700 years. It really makes you wonder, what's its next chapter going to be?